crypto. Why would you use blockchain? So let's consider that for a moment. Within supply chain, we can store information about what is happening to a product in terms of logistics. You can go further back and let's maybe talk about ethical mining, the diamond trade. We can incorporate blockchain to record where a diamond originates from that eventually lands on my wife's wedding ring or earrings, or I don't know, different places that people put piercings and want diamonds. So that's information we can store on the blockchain. We can save cost. So instead of manually recording all this information and then trying to extract data and writing programs to pull data out of different data sources, we can save money by recording it in the blockchain and using blockchain as a database. Information and data security are pretty much baked into blockchain. We encrypt what goes into the blockchain and very securely encrypt it. So we cover information and data security there. We can use it for crowdfunding. So that's really what the distributed autonomous organization or decentralized autonomous organization is about, is allowing us to source funds from multiple people and deploy those funds in a way that they want those funds to be deployed. And that immediately also leads into philanthropy. So great use case for philanthropy. We have intellectual property protection. I think, Nicoline, if I maybe ask you to come on camera and just talk to us a bit about NFTs and intellectual property.
Thank you, Vincent. I think we need to start with the point of view or where we are from a regulatory point of view beyond blockchain. And of course, around the world, we've got well-established protective mechanisms for intellectual property. These are typically registered with a registrar, and those will remain as is. So if you have any intellectual property rights that are registrable within the normal context, those protections will still stand. When, however, we aim to sell these property rights on the blockchain using utilities such as NFTs, it is important that we get jurisdiction-specific advice in order to make sure that the transfer happens in the relevant public office as well, until such time as all of these things become interconnected, because right now it isn't.
Yes. Well, thanks, Nicoline. Yeah, I think important point is blockchain can enhance our legal system, but at the same time, it's hampered by the legal system because not all aspects of it are on the blockchain as yet. Great. Yeah. So that's in terms.
I could interrupt there quickly, Vincent. Nicoline is unfortunately not on the cruise ship with us. She's busy with a very important case, so we had to zoom her in from elsewhere.
Happy to be here.
And then the next use case is international payments. So this almost combines all the aspects of why you should use blockchain. And the reason why is because it's the oldest part of blockchain, if I could put it that way. Cryptocurrency has really been the first use, widely adopted use of blockchain. So think about an international transfer. Most banks use a system called SWIFT, but maybe you don't use a system called SWIFT. Now, I want to get money from myself to Michelle. I have to contact a foreign exchange agency. I need to give my currency to them. They need to convert it. There's transfers that happen. There's intermediaries on my side. There's intermediaries on Michelle's side. And eventually, Michelle will get her money a few days after I have tried to make the transfer to her. Even if I use SWIFT, I still have issues in terms of how quickly I can get money to Michelle. It's not an instant thing. And I would need to go onto my bank, say I want to do this transaction, my bank may say, hold on, do you have things in place to be doing this transaction? I then do the things I need on my side. The money goes across to Michelle, and Michelle then needs to do things to accept and receive the money on her side. So it's quite a slow and cumbersome process. Where with cryptocurrency, I have my wallet, I have Michelle's wallet address. I say I'd like to transfer these funds to Michelle's wallet, and it's done. Michelle has the money in her wallet. Much simpler and much quicker. Yes, there are dangers. I could put her address in wrong and then the money's gone. So you've got to be cautious when you now take intermediaries out of the process, because they offer a layer of protection that is now absent. But I've saved cost, I've saved time and complexity. Nicoline, is there something you'd like to add to that aspect of the discussion?
Very briefly, I think you've already touched on it, Vincent, that the banking system and the process of international transfers does offer a layer of protection. But I think beyond that realization, it's also very important for us to not lose sight of the convenience factor if we use utilities like cryptocurrency. And you mentioned earlier that I was lucky enough to be one of the first legal practitioners involved in an equity transaction using cryptocurrency a couple of years ago already. And again, if we make sure that the details are intact, that we own checking those ourselves, the convenience factor and the risk could very much equate to one another, meaning that it's a responsible, well-considered decision that you make. But bear in mind, there are risks. So thank you. That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you. Yeah, and then the last block we got there is access to new markets. Now, blockchain in itself is creating new markets. So by participating in blockchain, as it evolves, we discover new applications and new markets are evolving. So just within that, you have access to new markets. But there are a number of other ways in that it is opens up international gateways. It eases international transacting. There are a number of ways that it gives access to new markets. I think I'd like to pause there again, Nicoline, and just I don't know if I'm going to ask a question so much as pose a statement, which I'd like you to comment on. Blockchain makes it very easy to transact internationally. But say I set up a distributed or decentralized autonomous organization where I'm raising funds to it's a great cause. I want to and there happens to be someone on the call, and so I'm thinking of a cause that she's working with. I want to build schools in Africa using recycled bricks. I mean, that's an amazing cause. So let's go raise funds. We set up a decentralized, autonomous organization to do that. I'm thinking it's done. It's on the blockchain. I'm sorted. I don't have to worry about stuff. But surely there are some pitfalls there.
Thanks, Vincent. I think that's the most frequent use case we've seen in the work that we keep ourselves busy with at the firm. And it's important for us not to lose sight of making sure we communicate effectively, whether it be with our sponsors or with the donors or our clients, however we've structured things, whether it's for profit or not for profit, so that people have transparency in our communication as much as the blockchain itself gives us transparency. So what are we promising people? What underlies the transaction that will take place on the blockchain? That's really where the pitfalls could originate from. For example, if we talk about tokens for a minute, and I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, what you are acquiring, what is linked to the token, what is in it for me, is a critical question to answer. Why? Because if we project if we say, this is what reward you will earn if you bring 2 of your friends or 5 of them, we run a very, very a real risk of it being considered, in simple terms, a pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme, something unsavory and unlawful. So it's absolutely critical to make sure that your structure is solid, that your messaging and the legal documentation going with that is solid, and then utilizing the blockchain for the execution of what you're aiming to achieve. But the two really need to speak to one another, and we really need to make sure that our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed.